If you thought you had already seen everything that Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord has to offer, the World Empires at War mod completely changes that feeling the moment you load into the campaign. Suddenly, Calradia is no longer the center of the world. The map explodes in size, stretching across continents, bringing together empires, kingdoms, and cultures from real history into one massive battlefield, where every decision you make has consequences on a global scale. You are no longer a small warband leader fighting for local power. You are stepping into a world where Roman legions march, medieval European kingdoms clash, Eastern empires rise, and ancient forces prepare for domination, all at the same time. Right from the start, the biggest difference you will feel is the scale. Armies are larger, politics are deeper, and the wars feel less like regional conflicts and more like full world wars that evolve over time. You might begin your journey as a nobody with a handful of troops, but soon you find yourself standing between powerful empires that are already fighting for dominance before you even arrive. Borders constantly shift, alliances form and collapse, and factions that look strong in the early game can suddenly be crushed by rising superpowers if they make the wrong moves. The battlefield becomes unpredictable in a way that keeps you watching every single move on the campaign map, because anything can happen at any moment. Combat also takes on a completely different identity when you are fighting with units inspired by real-world military traditions. You will see heavily armored legion-style infantry forming disciplined shield walls, while cavalry from other regions attempts to break their formations with devastating charges. Archers, spearmen, and shock troops all play a role that feels meaningful, especially when battles scale into hundreds or even thousands of soldiers clashing at once. Instead of chaotic skirmishes, engagements begin to look like carefully planned invasions, where terrain, formation, and timing decide who survives and who disappears from history. As your power grows, the mod slowly shifts from being about survival into something much bigger. You start managing cities that feel important, not just because of income, but because they are strategic gateways between continents and trade routes. Holding the right settlement can allow your faction to push into new lands or cut off entire enemy supply lines, forcing them into desperate wars they were never ready to fight. Suddenly, diplomacy becomes just as important as combat, and the choices you make in negotiations can either prevent wars or spark conflicts that change the balance of power across the entire world map. One of the most interesting parts of World Empires at War is how it constantly creates stories without scripting anything. Maybe you join a powerful empire expecting an easy path to victory, only to watch it slowly collapse due to endless wars on multiple fronts. Maybe a smaller faction that nobody took seriously begins expanding rapidly because it controls key trade cities and starts hiring massive mercenary armies. You could even create your own kingdom and attempt to stand against global superpowers that already control multiple regions. These moments happen naturally, and they keep you invested because the campaign never plays out the same way twice. Even late into the game, when you have your own army and territories, you still feel the pressure of the wider world. An empire from across the sea might suddenly declare war, forcing you to defend your homeland while your armies are already busy pushing into enemy territory elsewhere. Rebellions can break out, alliances can betray you, and wars that looked easy can turn into long, grinding conflicts that drain your resources and manpower. Victory stops being about winning one battle and becomes about long-term planning, managing your economy, and understanding when to expand and when to hold your ground. Eventually, you reach a point where your banner stands among the greatest empires in the world, and every faction recognizes you as either a threat or a potential ally. This is where the real challenge begins, because the stronger you become, the more enemies you attract. Coalitions can form against you, rival kingdoms might unite to stop your expansion, and the global war turns into a struggle for survival, where even a single defeat could push your empire into decline. You are no longer reacting to the world, you are shaping it, and every move you make can decide who controls entire continents. World Empires at War transforms the campaign into something that feels alive from beginning to end. Instead of conquering one kingdom at a time, you are participating in a constantly evolving global conflict where history is rewritten by your actions. Whether you decide to become a conqueror feared across continents or a ruler who carefully builds alliances to maintain balance, the world continues moving, fighting, and changing around you. And the most exciting part is that after dozens of hours, when you think you have finally secured your dominance, the campaign still finds ways to challenge you with unexpected wars, rising factions, and shifting alliances that force you to adapt once again. The moment you stop paying attention to the bigger picture is the moment another empire begins preparing for your downfall, and that is exactly what makes every campaign feel like the beginning of a new world war waiting to happen.